slow, average, gifted. By the time we leave elementary school, society has already stamped these permanent labels onto our files, convincing us that our intelligence is fixed at birth. Consider Edith Stern. At age 5, she had read the entire Encyclopedia Britannica. By age 15, she was teaching college-level mathematics. Edith possessed no miraculous genetic mutation. From the day she was born, her father systematically engineered her environment. He used adult language, played classical music, and drilled her with flashcards. If a human brain can be actively trained to process calculus before driving age, why do so many of us struggle to recall the contents of a single textbook page the morning after reading it? We tend to blame our biological hardware, our genetics, for our failures. The reality is that our hardware works perfectly. The point of failure is how we choose to wire it. A honeybee can build complex, hexagonal hives and communicate geographic locations using only 7,000 brain cells. The human brain, by comparison, contains roughly 1 trillion neurons. Because nearly all of us possess this exact same massive, identical hardware, raw neuron count does not separate a straight-A student from someone who fails out of class. The difference lies in neuroconnections. These are the physical pathways, the microscopic thought wires that link individual neurons together. Your ability to solve a math equation or draw a portrait is defined entirely by how dense and robust these specific pathways are. When you fold your arms normally, it feels effortless because you have thick, established neural pathways for that motion. Try folding them in the exact opposite configuration, and you fumble. No physical pathway exists for that specific action yet. Biological intelligence is a physical network. It only grows through deliberate, repeated stimulation. When we hit a difficult concept and feel confused, we usually interpret that discomfort as reaching the hard limit of our natural ability. Confusion is the physical sensation of your brain attempting to forge a brand new connection across completely uncharted territory. When you look at a problem and say, "I don't know," you instantly abort that biological growth process, leaving the gap permanently unbridged. A high performer pushes through that painful discomfort. They force the brain to keep trying until the electrical pulse finally bridges the gap, securing a new neural pathway. Confusion is the mandatory biological prerequisite for upgrading your brain. Zooming out from these microscopic connections, we find the brain is divided into 2 distinct hemispheres, each handling entirely different tasks. Our modern education system operates as a conveyor belt, heavily biased toward the left hemisphere, the side responsible for logic, math, and rigid sequence. Historical geniuses synchronized their firing across both hemispheres simultaneously, combining logic with imagination. Albert Einstein failed early math classes. He formulated the theory of relativity by first engaging in right-brain daydreaming, imagining himself riding a sunbeam, which provided the conceptual framework he then translated into mathematical proofs. By conforming strictly to an educational system that only values one side of this architecture, we are suppressing the very biological tools required to reach high-level insights. Intelligence is not a lottery ticket you win or lose at birth. It is a physical structure you are personally responsible for building. To start building it, erase the phrase "I don't know" from your vocabulary. Replace it with "let me think about it." That simple shift keeps your synapses actively firing instead of shutting down. Second, actively chase confusion. Treat abstract, difficult problems exactly the way you treat heavy weights in a gym, as the necessary resistance required for growth. Third, engage your neglected hemisphere. Inject colors, rhythm, and visual imagination into logical tasks. This forces both sides of your brain to synchronize, effectively doubling your processing power. You don't need to wish for a better set of genetics. You just need to start intentionally wiring the brain you already possess.